It's good to finally meet you. Yes, likewise.
Marcus Ashford had left his pregnant wife at home for a business lunch. So when he saw her collapsed against a skinny homeless teenager in their garden sidewalk, he ran toward them convinced something terrible had happened, only to hear three words that would shatter and rebuild his understanding of family forever. "Dad, help us." The text came through during my presentation to potential investors. "Baby's coming. Need you. Rachel." I was 42 years old, about to close a $50 million deal, and my 35-year-old wife was going into labor 3 weeks early. "Gentlemen, I apologize, but I need to." My phone rang. "Rachel." I answered while grabbing my jacket. "Marcus, I'm okay, don't panic." "Where are you?" "I'm coming." I went for a walk. Started having contractions. "I'm on Madison, near 68th. "But Marcus." "I'm fine. There's a boy helping me." "A boy? What boy?" "Rachel, sit down. I'm calling an ambulance." I'm sitting. He got me to a bench. "Marcus, just get here. Please." She hung up. I was already running. I'd built Ashford Capital from nothing. A kid from Detroit who'd made it through state school on scholarships and sheer determination. Now I managed portfolios for some of the wealthiest people in New York. I'd given Rachel everything. Penthouse, cars, jewelry, a life neither of us had imagined possible. But I couldn't give her the one thing she'd wanted most. I'd been too busy for the pregnancy. Too many deals. Too many late nights. Too many promises of next weekend and after this closes. She'd been patient, understanding, until this morning when she'd said quietly, "I'm afraid the baby won't know you, that you'll be a stranger in your own child's life." I'd brushed it off, said she was being hormonal, kissed her forehead, and left for my meeting. And now she was in labor on a Manhattan sidewalk while I'd been chasing another deal. I saw her from a block away. Rachel, my beautiful wife, sitting on a bench, her hand on her enormous belly, her face tight with pain. And beside her, leaning against her actually, like he was the one who needed support, was a teenage boy. He couldn't have been more than 16. Skinny, no, emaciated, wearing clothes that were more holes than fabric. A backpack that looked like it carried everything he owned. Dark hair that needed cutting, skin that needed sun, the unmistakable look of someone living on streets. And my pregnant wife had her arm around him like she was protecting him. What the hell? I ran faster. "Rachel." She looked up, relief flooding her face. "Marcus, thank God. Are you okay?" "The baby." "I'm okay. Contractions are 7 minutes apart. We have time." She squeezed the boy's shoulder. "This is Elijah. He's been taking care of me." I really looked at the kid then. He was staring at me with eyes that were too old for his face, wary, defensive, already preparing for rejection. "Thank you for helping my wife," I said, pulling out my wallet. "Here." "He doesn't want money," Rachel said sharply. "Marcus, listen to me. Elijah is." Another contraction hit. She gripped the kid's hand, breathing through it while he coached her in a voice that suggested he'd done this before. "That's it, breathe. 4 counts in. Hold, 4 counts out. You've got this." "How do you know about breathing techniques?" I asked. He didn't answer, just kept coaching Rachel through the contraction with a competence that was unsettling. When it passed, Rachel looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. "Marcus, Elijah isn't just some random kid. She took a breath. "He's your son." Time stopped. "What? Your son? From before we met?" "From Sarah." "Sarah?" I hadn't heard that name in 16 years. "Sarah Monroe. My college girlfriend. The one I'd gotten pregnant when we were both 21 and stupid and terrified. The one who'd said she was getting an abortion because we couldn't afford a baby and I was about to start my finance internship, and she had grad school applications and neither of us was ready. The one who'd broken up with me right after, saying she needed space to figure things out. I'd moved to New York, built my career, never looked back. "That's impossible," Sarah said. She lied. Elijah spoke for the first time, his voice rough, angry. "She couldn't go through with it. Had me instead. Told you she'd aborted me because she didn't want to trap you, or whatever. Raised me alone. But why didn't she? Where is she?" "Dead. Cancer. 6 months ago." The word hit like a punch. "Sarah's dead. And I've been on the street since because I aged out of the system right when she died in foster care, doesn't give a shit about 16-year-olds with no family," and he stopped, breathing hard. "Look, I didn't come here to bother you. I came to see what kind of man my mother spent 16 years protecting. Wanted to know if she was right to keep me from you. Protecting me from what? From knowing you had a son. From the guilt of knowing she'd raised me in poverty while you. He gestured at my designer suit, my Rolex, my obvious wealth. Lived like this. She said you were a good person who'd been young and scared. That you'd offered to help, but she'd said no because she didn't want to derail your dreams. That she'd lied to protect you. Rachel had another contraction. Elijah immediately shifted back into coach mode, leaving me standing there trying to process what I'd just heard. I had a son, 16 years old, living on the streets, who'd been taking care of my pregnant wife while I was in a meeting. We need to get to the hospital, I said finally, my voice not quite steady. Rachel, can you walk? I think so. She tried to stand, gasped, grabbed Elijah's arm. Maybe not. I'll carry you. I've got her. Elijah was already supporting her weight, skinny arms somehow strong enough to hold my wife upright. There's a hospital 2 blocks away. St. Catherine's. Faster than waiting for an ambulance. How do you know? I sleep in the alley behind it. Know all the entrances. He said it matter-of-factly, like sleeping in alleys was normal. Like my son, had been surviving on streets while I'd been building empires. We started walking, Elijah supporting Rachel, me feeling useless beside them. How did you find her? I asked. Rachel, how did you know who she was? Followed you. He didn't look at me. 3 weeks ago. Saw you leaving your building. Wanted to see where you lived, what your life looked like. Saw her coming out with groceries. She dropped a bag. I helped her pick stuff up. She thanked me. Asked if I was okay. Saw I was homeless. Started bringing me food. You've been bringing him food? I stared at Rachel. For 3 weeks. He's your son, Marcus. You didn't tell me. Because I knew you'd react exactly like this. Like it's an inconvenience. Like he's a problem to solve instead of a person to know. That's not fair, isn't it? Marcus, when's the last time you asked me about my day? About the baby? About anything that wasn't your work? Another contraction cut off my response. We'd reached the hospital. The ER moved fast once they saw Rachel's condition. Full dilation. Baby's coming now. Dad, you're with us. Both of them, Rachel gasped. Marcus and Elijah. Both my boys. The nurse looked at Elijah, dirty, homeless, obviously not belonging in a pristine delivery room. Ma'am, only immediate family. His family, Rachel insisted. He's the baby's brother. Half-brother. I corrected automatically, then hated myself for it. Rachel's eyes flashed with anger even through her pain. Get out. What? If you're going to split hairs about family, get out. Elijah stays. You leave. Rachel, that's not. I didn't mean. Marcus. She looked at me with disappointment that cut deeper than anger. For 3 weeks, while you were in meetings and making deals, your son was on the streets. And instead of bringing him home, instead of telling me you had a child who needed help, you were too busy to notice. But this boy, this half-brother, he stopped on a sidewalk to help a stranger in labor. So yes, he gets to be here for his sibling's birth. But you? You need to decide what kind of father you want to be. Because right now, you're not showing up great. The nurse cleared her throat. Sirs, we need to move. Baby's coming. You both need to scrub in or wait outside. Elijah looked at me, waiting for me to choose. Waiting to see if I'd reject him like I'd apparently been rejecting everything that mattered while chasing success. We'll both scrub in, I said. Rachel's right. He's family. Half family. Elijah muttered, but he followed the nurse. My daughter was born 45 minutes later. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect. Screaming her arrival like she was angry at being evicted from her comfortable home. Rachel held her, crying, exhausted, radiant. She's perfect, I whispered. She is. Rachel looked at Elijah, who stood in the corner, trying to be invisible. Come meet your sister. I shouldn't. I'm dirty. I don't care. Come here. He approached slowly, carefully, like he was afraid of breaking something. When he looked at the baby, his face did something complicated. Wonder and grief and longing all mixed together. She's tiny. You were this tiny once, Rachel said. Marcus, show him the photo. What photo? On your phone. The one from college. The only picture you have of Sarah. I pulled it up. A blurry photo from a party. Sarah laughing, 21 years old. So young it hurt to look at. Elijah stared at it. That's my mom. I've never. She didn't have pictures from when she was young. We couldn't afford. His voice cracked. She looks happy. She was. We both were. I looked at this boy, this stranger who was my son. I'm sorry. I didn't know. If I'd known. What? You'd have done something different? Married her? Raised me? He shook his head. She didn't want that. She wanted you to succeed. Said you were going to do something important. That having a kid would derail everything. She was wrong. Was she? Look at your life. Penthouse. Money. Success. Would you have all that if you'd known about me? I don't know. But I'd have known my son. That's worth more than money. Easy to say now. He stepped back. Look, congratulations on the baby. She's beautiful. Rachel's amazing. You're lucky. But I should go. Where? Rachel asked. Where are you going? Back to the alley behind this hospital? I've got a spot. I'm fine. You're not fine, I said. You're 16. You're homeless. You're my son. And you're not going back to the streets. I don't need your charity. It's not charity. It's responsibility. I've spent 16 years not knowing I had a son. I'm not spending another day letting you live on streets while I have a home. Marcus, Rachel's voice was soft. That's not a decision you get to make for him. He's not a problem you can throw money at. I'm not throwing money. Yes, you are. You're trying to fix this like you fix everything, with resources and solutions and control. But Elijah isn't a business deal. He's a person, a young man who's survived things you can't imagine. And he gets to decide what he wants. I looked at Elijah, really looked at him, saw the pride beneath the poverty, the strength beneath the fear, the wariness of someone who'd learned that adults couldn't be trusted. You're right, I said. I'm sorry. Elijah, I can't undo the 16 years I missed. Can't fix what my ignorance cost you. But I can offer you a choice. Come home with us. Not as charity, as family. You're my son. This, I gestured to the baby, is your sister. And if you'll let me, I'd like to try being your father. Not the father I should have been, but the father I can be now. And if I say no, then I'll respect that. But I'll also make sure you have resources. Apartment, money, education, whatever you need. Not because you're a problem to solve, but because you're my son, and that means something even if we're strangers. Elijah studied me for a long moment, then looked at Rachel. You really feed homeless kids regularly? Every week. Sandwiches at the shelter 3 blocks from our building. Why? Because I grew up in foster care. Aged out at 18 with nothing. I know what it's like to be invisible. She adjusted the baby in her arms. When I met you, I saw myself. Someone surviving. Someone alone. And I thought, Marcus doesn't know about you yet. But when he does, he'll want to know you. He'll want to make this right. You had more faith in me than I deserved, I said. I had faith in the man you could be, not the one you've been lately. She looked at both of us. This baby needs her father. But so does Elijah. So you need to decide. Marcus, are you going to be the man who's too busy for family? Or are you going to show up? Marcus had no idea he had a 16-year-old son living on the streets while he built his empire. Now he's offering him a home. Should Elijah trust him? Would you? And is it possible to become a father to a teenager you never knew existed? Drop your thoughts below. Elijah didn't say yes immediately. He said he'd think about it. That he'd come visit Rachel and the baby when they got home. That he'd consider the offer, but wasn't promising anything. I've been taking care of myself for 6 months, he said. I'm good at surviving. I don't know if I'm good at being someone's son. Fair enough, I said. But you're good at being someone's brother. I saw that today. That's different. Babies are innocent. Adults, he stopped. Adults leave. My mom died. My foster families gave up. I'm better off alone. You're wrong, Rachel said. But I understand why you think that. So take your time. Figure out what you want. But know this, Marcus and I aren't going anywhere. This baby isn't going anywhere. You have family now, whether you claim it or not. He left after that. Disappeared into the New York evening, while Rachel and I waited for her to be discharged. What if he doesn't come back? I asked. Then we find him. And we keep offering. And eventually, maybe he'll believe we're not going anywhere. We brought the baby home 2 days later. Named her Sarah Elena, after Elijah's mother and Rachel's middle name. A bridge between past and present. I'd converted my home office into a nursery during Rachel's pregnancy, but now I looked at our 4-bedroom penthouse differently. We had space. Space I'd been using for guests who never came and home offices I barely used. Space for a son I'd never known I had. I spent the next week doing something I'd never done before. I put my work second. I took paternity leave, something I told Rachel I couldn't afford before she went into labor. Turned out, I could afford it fine. My business partners were shocked, but supportive. I spent days with Sarah, Elena, and Rachel, learning to change diapers, walking the floor when the baby cried, being present in a way I'd never been during Rachel's pregnancy. And every evening, I went looking for Elijah. I found him on day 5, sleeping in the alley behind St. Catherine's, exactly where he'd said he'd be. "Go away," he mumbled when I woke him up. "Not a chance. Come on. Dinner." "I'm not hungry." "You're emaciated. You're hungry. Stop being stubborn and let me buy you a meal." He glared at me, but got up. We went to a diner 3 blocks away. I ordered him everything on the menu, watched him try to eat slowly, politely, when what he clearly wanted to do was inhale everything in sight. "When's the last time you ate?" "Yesterday." Woman at the shelter gave me a sandwich. Rachel. That was Rachel. She comes every week. Brings good sandwiches. Doesn't ask questions. Just sees people. She's good at that. Seeing people. I paused. I'm not. I'm good at seeing deals. Opportunities. Numbers. But people? I miss things. Important things. Like your pregnant wife needing help. Like that. And like having a son who needed a father for 16 years. Elijah pushed food around his plate. "My mom said you would have done the right thing. If you'd known. She said you were one of the good ones." "Did she?" "Yeah. Even at the end, when she was dying and I was freaking out about what would happen to me. She said," his voice broke. "She said I should find you. That you'd help. But I was so angry that she'd kept us apart all those years that I couldn't." "Why were you angry?" "Because we could have had help. Could have had money for her treatments, better doctors, a life where she wasn't working 3 jobs. But she was too proud. Too protective of your precious dreams. She died broke and exhausted, and I couldn't even afford a proper funeral." Tears were falling now. "So yeah, I was angry. At her. At you. At a world where some people get penthouses and some people die in county hospitals. I'm sorry. God, Elijah, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. You didn't know." "She made sure you didn't know." He wiped his eyes angrily. "But that doesn't change the fact that I grew up without a father. That I'm alone now. That I don't know how to be part of a family because I've never really had one." "Then learn with us. We don't know what we're doing either. Rachel and we're figuring out this parenting thing with Sarah. You could figure it out with us. It's not the same. You're right. It's not. But family isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up. And I'm showing up now. Late. Inadequate. But here." He was quiet for a long time. Then, "Can I ask you something?" "Anything. Do you wish my mom had told you? Or are you glad you got to have your successful life without a kid dragging you down?" "I wish I'd known. I wish I'd had the chance to be your father. To know your mother. Too." I stopped. "I can't change the past. But I can tell you this. You're not a burden. You're not dragging anyone down. You're my son. And that's..." My voice broke. "That's a gift I didn't know I was missing." Elijah looked at me like he wanted to believe it, but couldn't quite. "The guest room in our penthouse," I said. "It's yours if you want it. No strings. No expectations. Just a room. A bed. A home. What would I do there? I don't know how to be part of your world. Then we'll figure it out together. You'll finish high school. Maybe college if you want. Or trade school. Or whatever path makes sense for you. But you'll do it from a home. With family. With a father who's trying to make up for lost time and a sister who, trust me, is going to need a big brother to protect her from me being an overprotective nightmare. And Rachel? She's okay with this. She's been asking about you every day, wanting to know if you're eating enough, if you're safe, if you've decided to come home yet. I smiled. She's already your champion. Like she was before I even knew you existed. She's good people. The best. And she sees something in you that I'm just starting to understand. Strength. Resilience. The makings of an extraordinary person. I'm just a kid who's been sleeping in alleys for 6 months. You're a young man who survived 6 months on streets most people wouldn't last a day on. Who helped a pregnant stranger in labor. Who coached her through contractions like a professional. Who clearly loves his mother enough that her memory still guides him. I leaned forward. "Elijah, I see you. And what I see is someone I'd be proud to call my son." He broke then. Fully broke. Crying in a diner booth. This tough kid who'd been surviving alone. Finally letting someone see how scared and lonely he'd been. I moved to his side of the booth and did something I should have done days ago. I hugged him. He stiffened at first, unfamiliar with physical affection. Then he relaxed, and I felt him shaking as years of held-back fear and grief poured out. "I miss her so much," he sobbed. "My mom. I miss her so much, and I'm so angry at her, and I feel guilty for being angry, and I don't know what to do. Grieve. Feel everything. Be angry and sad and confused in all of it. That's allowed. That's normal. I don't have time to grieve. I have to survive. Not anymore. You have a home now. A family. You have time to be 16. To feel. To heal. What if I don't know how? Then we'll learn together. He came home with me that night. Rachel cried when she saw him. You're here. Oh, thank God, you're here. Just trying it out. No promises. No promises needed. Just be here. Be safe. Be family. We showed him his room. He stood in the doorway, staring at the bed like it was a foreign object. It's too much. It's a bed and a desk and a closet. That's basics, not too much. I've been sleeping on cardboard for 6 months. He touched the bedspread carefully. Can I really stay here? As long as you want. Years, if you'll let us. He looked at me, vulnerable and terrified and hopeful. What if I don't know how to be your son? Then we figure it out together. Day by day, mistake by mistake, until we get it right. That night, Rachel and I heard him crying through the walls. 16 years of grief and fear and survival instinct finally having space to process. We didn't interrupt. Just let him have his moment. But Rachel said something that stuck with me. He's been strong for so long. Now he gets to be safe. That's what family does. Gives you space to fall apart because you know someone will help you put the pieces back together. The first month was hard. Elijah didn't trust easily. Would wake up at 3 a.m. convinced we'd changed our minds. Would hoard food in his room like he might need it if he ended up back on streets. Would flinch when I raised my voice, even if I wasn't angry at him. He's been in survival mode, Rachel explained. Give him time. Give him consistency. Show him we're not going anywhere. So I did something radical. I kept showing up. Every morning, I made breakfast. Every evening, I was home for dinner. Every night, I checked on him before bed. I hired a therapist who specialized in trauma and grief. Elijah went reluctantly at first, then started opening up. I enrolled him in the private school near our apartment. He was smart, brilliant, actually, despite missing months of education. His teachers were amazed at how fast he caught up. I taught him to drive, took him shopping for clothes that fit, showed him how to navigate the subway. All the dad things I should have been doing for 16 years, condensed into months of learning each other. And slowly, so slowly, he started to trust that this was real. 3 months in, I came home to find him playing with Sarah Elena, who was cooing at her big brother like he'd hung the moon. She smiled at me, he said, awestruck. Like a real smile. That's because she knows you're her person. Her protector. I've never been anyone's person before. You're ours now. All of ours. 6 months in, I took him to my office. Introduced him to colleagues as my son. Watched their surprise when they realized they'd never known I had a child. Where has he been? One asked. Finding his way home, I said. Took us both a while, but he's here now. Elijah looked at me like I'd given him something precious. Later, he said, you told them I'm your son. Not your half-son or your son by surprise. Just your son. You are my son. Period. No qualifiers needed. A year after that day on the sidewalk, we had a family dinner. Rachel's cooking, Sarah Elena in her high chair making a mess, Elijah helping serve, me setting the table. Normal. Domestic. Perfect. I'm applying to colleges, Elijah announced. Architecture programs. I want to design buildings. That's amazing, Rachel said. What inspired that? Mom used to say she wished she'd been an architect, that she liked the idea of building things that last, that matter. I thought, maybe I could do that. For her. And for me. She'd be so proud, I said. Do you think? He looked uncertain. Do you think she'd be okay with? He gestured at our home, our family. All this. Me being here. I think she'd be grateful. And relieved. And so happy that you found family. I've been thinking about her a lot. About what she sacrificed. How she protected you because she loved you, but also loved me enough to raise me alone. He took a breath. I used to be so angry at her. For not telling you. For keeping us apart. But now I think, maybe she was doing the best she could. Making impossible choices with love as her guide. That's grace, Rachel said. You're giving her grace. That's beautiful. I'm trying. Therapy helps. He smiled. Genuine now, not the wary half-smile he'd worn for months. And having you guys helps. Having Sarah helps. Being part of something helps. You're not part of something. I corrected. You're essential to it. We're not complete without you. Later, after the kids were in bed, Rachel and I stood in our living room looking at family photos on the mantle. We'd added a section for Elijah, pictures from the past year, watching him transform from a scared street kid to our son. You did good, Rachel said. Showing up, being present, choosing family over work. I almost didn't. Almost chose the deal over you going into labor. Almost let him walk away. Almost missed everything that mattered. But you didn't. You made different choices. Better ones. Because you pushed me to. Because you saw what I was missing and wouldn't let me keep missing it. She leaned against me. That's what partners do. See each other's blind spots. Push each other to be better. I'm sorry I didn't see yours. During the pregnancy, I was so focused on building your legacy. I know. But Marcus? Your real legacy is in that bedroom down the hall. Both of them. Sarah and Elijah. That's what lasts. Not the deals, or the money, or the success. The family you build. The kids you raise. The love you give. Took me too long to figure that out. But you figured it out. That's what matters. 5 years later, Elijah graduated from Cornell with a degree in architecture. Top of his class. Awards for his designs. A future that would have made his mother proud. At his graduation, I stood with Rachel and Sarah Elena, now 5 years old and obsessed with her big brother, and watched him walk across the stage. That's my brother, Sarah shouted, not caring about decorum. That's Elijah. He's the best. The woman beside us smiled. Your family is beautiful. Thank you, Rachel said. We're very proud. After the ceremony, Elijah found us in the crowd. He'd grown, not just taller but stronger, more confident. The scared street kid completely transformed into a capable young man. Congratulations, I said, pulling him into a hug. Your mother would be so proud. I wish she could see this. She can. Somewhere, somehow she knows. Sarah Elena grabbed his leg. Are you coming home now? I miss you. I miss you too, Squirt. And yes, I'm coming home. For the summer, anyway. Then I start at Morrison and Associates in the fall. The architecture firm? Rachel's eyes widened. Elijah, that's one of the best firms in the city. I know. They recruited me based on my thesis project. He smiled, full and genuine and proud. I designed a housing complex for homeless youth. Sustainable, dignified, built to give kids what I didn't have, a safe place to transition from streets to stability. You're building for them, I said. For kids like you were. Someone has to. And I know what they need because I was there. He looked at me. I wouldn't have survived without you and Rachel. Without this family. So now I'm going to help make sure other kids don't have to survive alone. Your mother's son, Rachel said softly. Building things that matter. Creating legacy through compassion. That night, back home, I found Elijah on the balcony, looking out over the city. Penny, for your thoughts? Just thinking about the day we met. How I'd been watching you for weeks, trying to figure out if you were worth knowing. If my mom had been right to protect you all those years. And what's the verdict? She was right. About you having potential. About you being someone who could be good if given the chance. He turned to me. But you know what? You were worth the wait. Worth the risk of trusting. Worth calling Dad. He'd started calling me that 6 months in. The first time, he'd said it accidentally, then looked terrified. I cried and told him it was the best gift anyone had ever given me. Thank you, I said now. For giving me a chance. For trusting me when I hadn't earned it. For teaching me what matters. What matters? This. Family. Showing up. Being present. Building something that lasts beyond deals and money. I put my arm around him. You saved me that day on the sidewalk. Not just Rachel. Me. From a life where I'd have missed everything important chasing things that don't matter. We saved each other. Yeah, we did. Sarah Elena burst onto the balcony, carrying a picture she'd drawn. Look, it's our family. You, Mommy, me, and Elijah. She'd drawn us as stick figures, holding hands, smiling. Imperfect. Simple. Beautiful. That's perfect, baby, Rachel said, joining us. That's exactly what we are. And standing there, my wife, my daughter, my son who'd found his way home, I realized something profound. Success wasn't measured in portfolios or penthouses or deals closed. It was measured in moments like this. In family found. In second chances taken. In love that bridged the gap between stranger and son. Between abandonment and belonging. I thought I had everything before that day on the sidewalk. Turns out, I'd had nothing. Now, I had everything that mattered. A wife who pushed me to be better. a daughter who reminded me to be present, and a son who taught me that family isn't about biology or timing. It's about showing up, staying, choosing each other every single day, even when, especially when, it's hard. Marcus almost missed everything important chasing success. Elijah almost stayed on the streets rather than trust family. Both of them had to choose vulnerability over safety. Have you ever had a moment where you realized what you thought mattered didn't? And what actually mattered was something you'd been overlooking? Share your story below. Sometimes we all need reminded what's real. This story is for everyone who's ever been too busy building a career to notice their missing life. For every parent who realized too late what mattered. For every child who survived alone when they should have had family. Family isn't perfect. It's messy and complicated and requires showing up even when it's uncomfortable. But it's worth it. Always worth it. Show up. Be present. Choose the people over the achievements. That's where real legacy lives.